back to In the Kitchen with the Dietitian. My name is Jane Story. Today is another episode in my series on whole grains. We're going to talk about millet. Millet is considered an ancient grain and it's naturally gluten-free, like many whole grains are. There are several different types. A few I'm going to show you are foxtail millet, which is right here. I ordered this off Amazon. There is Bob's Red Mill millet, which is made from proso millet. And then I have finger millet here, which is in the shape of a finger, as you can see by this picture here. I also have a dried cereal. It's puffed millet. Like puffed rice and puffed wheat, this is puffed millet. Because of its low cost to farm, it is predominantly grown in Africa, Asia, and India. However, there is some that's grown in the United States. It is extremely drought tolerant. Although it is similar in appearance to quinoa, it is a much milder flavor and it kind of takes on the flavor of whatever you put with it or you season it with. To me, it kind of tasted like mashed potatoes. I know, I'm probably pushing it a little bit. Pearl millet, when compared to finger millet, is a significant source of thiamine, niacin, and riboflavin. Most whole grains are good sources of these vitamins. It is also slightly higher in calcium, calories, zinc, iron, lipids, and high-quality protein when compared to pearl millet. I did say that it was a good source of calcium, but it's important to remember when we get calcium from plant sources that it is harder for us to absorb than it is from cow's milk because there are other materials in with it that hinder its absorption. I'm going to show you a few recipes. The recipe inspiration came from the Bob's Red Mill website and the Whole Grain Council. However, I've put my own spin on them. I took into consideration when I was making them that they would fit into the meal plans that I do. I am going to cook these in a crock pot and in my Easy Bake Oven. I got a new Easy Bake Oven, so I'll show that to you because I don't want people to feel like it's time consuming and we have to stick to the stove top to make whole grains because we don't. We can put them in things and walk away from them. I have already put one batch in this morning, so I'll be able to show you, and I'm going to cook one batch with you so you can see how easy it is to do this. The bonus part of this is that they're already broken up into individual servings by the dishes that I'm using to make them. So let's get started. I am aware that not everybody has a triple crock pot. However, I've had mine for a long time. I bought it for Thanksgiving one year and I have not used it. And I was going through my cabinets and I'm like, oh, this would be like the perfect time to use it. If you don't have one of these, you can simply put it in a small crock pot. I was in HEB the other day. They had a 2-quart crock pot for $10. And so those are the real small ones. I'm going to show you that. This is a small 2-quart crock pot. I use it a lot. I've used it in the grits episode. So again, I understand not everybody has a triple crock pot, but if you do have one, this is awesome to do this with. First, we need to spray the crock pots with some cooking spray. And I'm just using canola oil. Whatever spray you want to use is fine. My first ingredient is a 1/4 cup of millet. I weighed mine out because I don't like to use measuring cups as much as I do my scale. This is 45 grams of millet, which is 1 serving on the package, 170 calories. I have a cup of low sodium chicken broth. I have 2 ounces of grilled chicken that was in my freezer that I'm just throwing in frozen. I have 2 servings of frozen vegetables. I have a serving of carrots and a serving of peas. And then I have 2 tablespoons of reduced fat cheddar cheese, Cabot brand. I'm going to use onion herb salt-free seasoning. I like onion herb for just about everything as long as it's not a breakfast one. Again, this is to your liking, whatever you want. And then I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. And then I'm just going to stir it up. And that's it. You do not have to stir this while it's cooking. It will cook up and you're done. 2 hours on high. Next recipe is a 1/2 cup of apples, diced up. I have a cup of Fairlife milk. so I could get some extra protein. That's the ultra filtered milk. I have a full serving of the millet, which is 45 grams. I have a 1/4 cup of canned pumpkin. This is not pumpkin pie filling. This is canned pumpkin. I have a 1/4 cup of applesauce. And as you can see, I'm just dumping this stuff in there. I'm not doing anything special. And then we're just going to mix that. This, when it is done, will be topped with a 1/4 cup of 0% Greek yogurt and a tablespoon of pecans. My last recipe is a 1/2 cup of Fairlife ultra filtered milk, skim milk, and a 1/4 cup of water. I have a 1/2 cup of canned pumpkin. We're getting servings of vegetables in here. And this particular one could be used as a breakfast or a dinner item. I have 2 links of this turkey sausage that I use. It's already diced up. I just took them and diced them up into pieces. You do it how you want. I wanted to have more spread throughout my dish, but you could leave them bigger if you wanted to. I have a 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce. And the brand I used was Mott's, only because it has 50 calories for a 1/2 cup versus the store brand had 70. And I'm not quite sure what the difference was because they're all made from apples. So I chose the lower calorie version. I have a 1/2 cup of diced apples. I have a 1/4 cup of reduced fat Cabot cheese. And I have a 1/2 serving of the millet, which is 23 grams, or would be considered 1/8 of a cup. And then I'm just going to stir that. The first time I made these recipes, because I always experiment ahead of time, I used a sweet potato because I happen to have some sweet potatoes on hand. So I used a 1/2 cup of mashed sweet potatoes. You could also use a 1/2 cup of butternut squash. I had pumpkin on hand, so I used a 1/2 cup of pumpkin. For the last cooking option, I'm using dishes, Pyrex dishes. Actually, these are made by Anchor Hocking. This is a 4-cup version of it. I'm going to spray it just with the canola oil again. This time I have 2 servings of the vegetable soup blend. I will show you what that looks like. I'm in Texas, so I got this at HEB. I don't know if maybe Kroger or Walmart has something like that wherever you're at, Safeway, whatever, wherever you happen to be and you're watching this. Put that in there. 2 ounces of my frozen chicken that was already cooked again. 2 tablespoons of Cabot reduced fat cheese, so this is a 1/2 serving. A 1/4 cup of the millet. This is a full serving, so 45 grams. And a cup of chicken broth, low salt. And then I'm going to add the onion herb mix, no salt added, and a little bit of the thyme that I had earlier. Stir that up, done. I sprayed the dish for my second recipe. I have a cup of Fairlife milk, again, just like the first time. A 1/2 cup of diced apples. A serving of millet, 1/4 cup. A 1/4 cup of canned pumpkin. And a 1/4 cup of applesauce. And this one is the same one that'll be topped with the 1/4 cup of 0% Faya Greek yogurt and a tablespoon of pecans. Last recipe, spray that down again. 1/2 cup of Fairlife 0% milk, ultra filtered, more protein, and a 1/4 cup of water. 1/4 cup of applesauce unsweetened. 1/2 cup of diced apples. 2 sausage links like I showed you before, the turkey sausage. A 1/4 cup of the Cabot reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese. 1/2 cup of canned pumpkin. I think this one's my favorite, just because I love sausage. and then a half serving of the millet, so about 23 grams. Stir that up. Forgot to add my thyme to this one because I wanted to add a little bit more seasoning to that. You season it up how you want to. Just make sure to choose low to no salt added seasoning blends. We are in my butler's pantry, and we're gonna put in my new Easy Bake Oven. It's huge, so I had to move it. This is the first one. Second one with the apples, no sausage. And then this is the one that I think is gonna be the best, which I already know it is because I've had it. It's the one with the sausage and the cheese. And I'm just gonna put those in there. Shut it. It's gonna go at 350 degrees for 30 minutes on the bake function. I wanna give you a view of them out of the oven and the crock pot. These have been sitting in my oven for a little bit while I was doing my video, but I'm just gonna stir that up so you can see what that looks like. This is the cheese and sausage one with the apples. And then this is the version in the crock pot. And you would just stir it up, just like I did that. The shepherd's pie version, as I'll call it. It got thick, which is fine, just stir it on up. You can kind of see where I told you it's kind of like mashed potatoes, and it's white, so it really looks potato-y. And this one almost looks like a flan when it cooked, but you'll just, again, stir that all up. Or you could just leave it like it was and eat it with a fork. And this is the one that gets topped with the yogurt and the tablespoon of nuts. And if you wanted to, we could take some cinnamon and sprinkle it. Take a little Truvia brown sugar substitute and sprinkle that on too. Hopefully I've given you some ideas on how to incorporate a new whole grain into your daily meal pattern. Join me next time for In the Kitchen with the Dietitian.